This is Dave. He's a business coach who's struggling to build his client base. But this is Kelly. She's also a business coach who lives in the same city and even is in the same exact niche as Dave. Niche, how do you pronounce it? Either way you choose to pronounce it, just don't be a Dutch bag about it. Let's go back to Dave and Kelly. Dave's business is stuck, but Kelly's is thriving. The difference? Kelly has a proprietary process. So what is a proprietary process, and why do you as a coach or consultant need one to get consistent, profitable results for your clients? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Jon Cook. I'm the founder of Keynote Content, helping clarify your message so you can elevate your impact and income. I've worked with close to 1,300 coaches and consultants one-on-one over the past few years to help them stand out from others in their space and make a greater difference. So you remember Dave. See, Dave doesn't have a proprietary process. All of his coaching clients think that maybe Dave's making up how to work with him because Dave doesn't actually have a plan. He doesn't have a process. Kelly, you remember her, she also is a business coach in the same niche as Dave. But unlike Dave, Kelly's created her own proprietary process. Let's call it the Kelly Makes It Rain method. It's simple, it's easy to explain, and it gives her and her clients a solid plan for how to get to where they want to go and get the results that they expect. So if you're a coach or consultant who doesn't have a proprietary process or some type of framework for your clients to follow, I have some bad news. You're Team Dave. But today I'm going to share with you how to be more like Kelly and having your own proprietary process or framework. In this video, we're going to discover what a proprietary process or coaching framework actually is, what it isn't, and how to create your own in only a few minutes. So what is a proprietary process? Let's start by clearing up some confusion here. You've probably heard someone, maybe another coach or consultant, someone on YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever it might be, talking about having a proprietary process. You maybe have even heard a coaching organization like ICF talk about having a framework or a pathway. And if you hear me say framework, it's the same thing as proprietary process or pathway or method. It's the same idea, different names. And that's why you're here right now. Maybe you've seen somebody walk you through their process and you think, oh, I love that. How can I get one of those for myself? Well, what if we put the pieces in place for you to create your very own process right now? That'd be worth the next few minutes, right? I believe that if you're going to build something, it's best to build it right the first time. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. We need to know what we're building first. What is your step-by-step plan for helping your clients get the results that they need? A proprietary process is usually a 3 to 7 step process that takes your clients from where they are right now, unfulfilled, unsatisfied, craving a better life, a better experience, and brings them to where they want to be. We call this their extraordinary world. If you can bring people from their ordinary world to this extraordinary world using the same process over and over and over again, that sounds incredibly impactful and profitable. But let's get back to this idea of having steps in your process. If you want to cross a river, you look for stepping stones, right? And if there aren't enough steps to carry that distance, you'll fall in the river, you'll get soaked, and you won't get safely to the other side. That's why we have the right amount of steps. We'll get into how we put these steps into place in a short bit, but for now, that's what a proprietary process is. A plan to help your clients get from here to there, step by step by step, as safely and as efficiently as possible. Now you may already be thinking, Jon, I've got this figured out. That's what my coaching program does, or that's what my course is supposed to do. And that's the trap. After working with that many coaches and consultants, I've seen far too many make this mistake. Your coaching program is not your proprietary process. Your program is what you do to help your clients get the results they want. Your proprietary process or framework is how you do what you do to help your clients get those results. The same is true whether you have an online course, a webinar, a training, a workshop, or some type of video series or worksheets. Those are all what you do. But how do you do what you do through each of those to get the results your clients expect? Your program is what you do. Your online course is what you do. Your workshop is what you do. But your proprietary process is how you do what you do. It is the spine that gives strength and structure to what you do. And that begs the question, now that we know what it is and what it isn't, how do we build this proprietary process for you as a coach or consultant? The first part I like starting with is reverse engineering with the end in mind. Stephen Covey has a classic book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He shares that the second habit is beginning with the end in mind. So tip of the cap to Stephen Covey, I appreciate your wisdom. We start with the end goal. What's the most important change that your clients want to experience after working with you? If you're a parenting coach, your clients want to know that their kids are going to be well-behaved, loving, obedient, just great kids. And that end goal, that extraordinary world, maybe we call that the well-balanced child. If you're a fitness coach, your clients might want to love how they look and feel. That extraordinary world, that maybe we call it the fit and free after 40 or something along those lines. What's the goal that you want to help your clients ultimately achieve? Do they want to sell their business profitably? Do they want to raise great kids? Do they want to have a healthier relationship with food and fitness? Do they want to be more in love with their spouse than ever before? None of these outcomes happen by accident, as great as that would be. You need a plan, a step-by-step way to get where you want to go. And like a stairway though, you need to see where is that landing and how many steps do we need to have in place to get to where we want to be. If you don't have a good framework in place, start with the end goal. What's the extraordinary world for your clients that they want to achieve, and reverse engineer from there. And chances are you already have some type of process that you're using, even if it's not documented that well just yet. That's probably how you came to this conclusion. Hey, I have something, but I need to articulate that better. Several of the coaches and consultants that I've worked with have a process that they were already using that wasn't well articulated. That's no fault, no slight to anyone. So what do? Through a series of short conversations, we're able to extract the different pieces of the process, and like a puzzle, we documented their process and gave it a great name with an amazing meaning, and that's what they now use. So how do you get there? By defining where your client is starting right now. What's your ideal client's current everyday reality? I call this their ordinary world. And it's not as fun or fulfilling or free as they want it to be because they know they want something more. Either they have something that they don't want, these little terrors who are ripping up the house and they're behaving awful in public, or they don't have something that they want. Little angels who are free to be kids that are loving and kind and well-adjusted. So let's start building. Your first part was identify your client's extraordinary world. Give it a name, describe it in vivid detail. What's there, what isn't there? What are they free to do? What are they safe from? What are they thinking and feeling and doing when they wake up? And that's their new everyday reality. That was the first part. Identifying their extraordinary world. So how do you get those kids from being these little terrors, that ordinary, not so fun or not so fulfilling world, to being sweet, kind, loving kids who you love spending time with, and people, complete strangers give you compliments, your kids are so well behaved. How do you help go from here to there? That's where the steps come into place. When someone says, I want to work with you, where do we start? What's your first move? Now, a quick point of clarification. Every step in your process needs to be independent of any specific person, any exact person. It's not for Julie, it's not for Mike, it's not for Deshaun. Every step needs to work for your ideal client type, not just one specific client that you happen to have right now. We're focusing on the type of person you want to serve, not one specific person who happens to already be your client. Each step in your process also needs to have a specific purpose and a specific outcome or targeted deliverable. If we do step one, how will we know we accomplished what we're supposed to accomplish with step one? What's the thing, the plan, a worksheet, a conversation, a decision, a change, something that will let us know that this step worked? And what's your first step in your proprietary process? I recommend your first step be about getting your bearings. So if you walk into a crowded room with a lot of movement going on, a lot of noise, sometimes you need to just take a beat to get your surroundings, right? Your first step probably needs to be something along the lines of discover or identify or get a baseline, review, assess, check, evaluate, something along those lines. You get the idea. It's a step to help you get your bearings and wrap your mind around what exactly is this person's facing right now. What's their situation? What's the real problem or challenge that they're facing? And their first step is a great place to introduce some type of assessment, some type of quiz, a questionnaire to help you get a baseline understanding of what your client is facing right now. Having that data, even if it's from a simple quiz or a simple verbal questionnaire, that can be a powerful element to ignite change. But what's your second step? First one, get your bearings. Second one is we start taking action. Once you've wrapped your mind around where your client is, that's when you take decisive action with your second step. I call this the do this next step. You understand where they are, so what's your next move as their coach or consultant? You might call this your build step. You build a plan, you create something, you take decisive action to start gaining traction in a different direction. This second step is usually where another deliverable can be introduced. If you're a wellness coach, maybe you create a nutrition plan or some type of meal plan. If you're a sleep coach for kids, maybe you put together some type of personalized sleep plan for parents to follow. Having a plan of action is a great reference point as you go through the rest of your process. And this is where you can have a simple process that has only 3 steps. Those might be something along the lines of identify, build, analyze, or identify, build, adjust. You identify the problem, you build a solution, and then you adjust or analyze based on the results. However, you might want your process to be a bit more involved and nuanced in your approach. So whatever number of steps that you use, 3, 5, 7, whatever it might be, you need to answer some key questions with your process. Where do we start? What do we make? How do we know it's working? How do we make changes or react if what we build needs to change? And how do we keep this working well into the future? Once you have your extraordinary world and it's written down, that's the end goal of your process, and you understand your ideal client's ordinary world and the starting point of your process, write out each step of your process between these two worlds. That's why I love having 3 to 7 steps. That's more than enough steps to answer these questions with confidence and clarity. This is where you have the freedom to use as many steps as you want in your process. If you want to use more than 7 steps, go for it, have fun. If you want to use less than 3 steps, that's also your call. However, after working with that many coaches and consultants, the best proprietary processes that I see consistently have between 3 to 7 steps. Ideally, having 3 to 5 steps seems to work best. Now that you have your process laid out, one of the most challenging yet beneficial exercises that you can do is question the purpose and place of each piece in your process. If you have 5 steps in your process, see if any of these steps are unnecessary. Don't use 5 steps, as 4 steps gets the job done just as well. But at the same time, are there any steps that are missing? Are there any gaps in your process? With each essential step, is it in the exact order it needs to be in your process? Is each step in the right place? The right steps in the wrong order, that can still be a pretty decent process, but it's amazing what happens when you have the right steps in the right order. And if you believe you have the right steps in the right order, it's time to red team it. If there's a practice that's employed by military forces and strategists, inventors, tech teams all over the world that's called red teaming. It's the idea of segmenting out part of your team to act as your adversary or enemy. And this small group, or maybe even a single team members, their whole job is to make your plan break. They're supposed to find all the weaknesses. Where's the gaps? Where are the lapses in security? Have we lost some of the focus of this process? If you have a trusted colleague who isn't in your business every day, they may be a great person to ask to red team your proprietary process. Ask them to be as direct and as thorough as you'd like, but the whole goal is for them to find holes in your process before you introduce it to the world. Once you have a great working model of your proprietary process, it's time to field test your process with a small group of trusted clients. And these are people who maybe have been with you for a while now, or somebody that you trust to give good feedback on your new process. I recommend introducing your process over a cup of coffee or over a meal and getting someone's honest feedback. Let them ask questions, document their ideas, and of course, then you can share the reason behind why you have this process in the first place. And once you have your new process that's been red teamed, it's field tested, it's ready to go, it's time to share it with the world. So start incorporating this process into every conversation you have with your current and prospective clients. If you love the name of your process, you may even want to start the trademark process for its name. And one last step that I want you to keep in mind is the power of infinite iterations. You put together this process, but you can always change it. You can always work towards improving your process and do it over and over again as often as you want. So we covered what a proprietary process is. We covered what it isn't, and we covered how to put this together. And if you followed along with me today, you now have at least a draft of your new proprietary process that you can start to red team and field test and get that out into the world. If you love what I shared today, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe to catch more of my videos about how to clarify your message and elevate your impact and income as a coach or consultant. Now, where I see a lot of coaches and consultants get tripped up is wanting to know, I love to understand what is my ideal client thinking and feeling and doing as we have these conversations and they decide to work with me and they start working with me. I'd love to know what's going through your mind. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Well, I've put together a video talking about how you can put the power of neuroscience with the compassion of empathy to be able to truly create a powerful, meaningful connection with the right type of people. So hit play on this next video. I'll see you there.